Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be adding Leaflet to a React.js application. We'll be using just the Leaflet NPM package, but there's another library which is called React Leaflet, which also has quite significant downloads. If you're planning to just get some components which make works out of the box, I would suggest you to check out this library. But in this video, I'll be just focusing on the Leaflet. So, anyways, I've already went and I created a basic React.js application using React, and I've already installed Leaflet as a dependency. I've also done some extra setup, which we'll be going through as we go through this video. So anyways, you need to come to the Leaflet.js quick start guide. I need to come here and first of all, copy this CSS. I think I've already copied it. Let me check it once. Yeah, let me again paste it here just to show it to you. So this is CSS which is required for the Leaflet.js. Other than that, in the guide it says you need to basically do the JavaScript also similarly. But since we have already installed using from npm, we don't need that. Now let me copy this div ID and I'll be having a map component for that. And let me paste it here. Now let me do npm run dev. I think sorry there. Let me refresh it. And sorry about that. We need to do some extra stuff also. So first of all, we need a height also to be. We need to basically give a height to the map. So for that, what I've done is that in the index CSS, I've already went and given it the width and height completely for this ID, which we're using here, as you can see. So let me close all of these. Now what we need to do is like, let me now create a map here. First of all, let me do use ref. This is gonna give us the DOM element which references map. It is somewhat similar to how we DOM, basically how we mount React to a root element. Anyways, let me do this and let me do use effect. And most of our primary logic will be written in this use effect itself. Now let me import leaflet. Let me come back here and let me copy this logic. Here, what I need to do is like I need to do map ref dot current leaflet. And for the map, I need to give the element, div element. In here, I've given the map. And set view is basically going to take the location where you would like to be zoomed out, and that will be the center of the map. As you can see, it's saying center is these are the coordinates, which are the latitude and longitude, along with the zoom level. You can basically zoom out or zoom in, it's up to you. Other than that, we need to also give a tile to it. Now, there are different tiles providers available. You can use Google Maps, you can use, I think, Mapbox. We'll be using an open source version, you can say, or you can say we'll be using OpenStreetMap for this video. But you can check out there are a lot of alternatives. I would say check out the usage policy if you're using OpenStreetMap, if you're using for production. But anyways, let me copy this logic here. As you can see, we are getting the map. Now, what we'll do is like we'll be trying to create a user location. For that, what I'll do is like first of all, I'll explain you some of the hooks which I've already went and created them. One is the use local storage, which is just gonna take the key and an initial value, and it's gonna give us the local storage. And whenever these values changes, it's gonna basically again store it in the local storage. Another is the use geolocation. Basically, what happens is like when you're using a map, we need to basically use the geolocation API. So I'm tracking that in this hook, you can say. I'm first of all taking the geo from the navigator or geolocation, and these needs two callbacks. One is on success and on error. For error, I'm just throwing the error. For on success, what I'm doing is like I'm putting it in a state variable, which is position, with the latitude which I get from here, latitude, and for longitude from here. and I'm calling that geo.watch position. I'm passing those both callbacks here. And whenever this use geolocation, wherever it's being used, it gets unmounted. I'll just remove this watcher also. So that's what I'm doing in this hook. And if you would like to understand more in deep, I would say to check out the MD. It's very well detailed there. So I'll not be going too much into detail with regards to that. So anyways, what we can do now is like we can get the user marker as well as nearby markers. Let me give a key to it, and I'll give an initial value of 0, and for longitude also I'll give it 0. You can give any value if you want. And now what you do is like, let me just correct it. Yeah, let me come back to it. And as you can see, I'm returning value and set value. So what I'll basically destructure them. User position, set user position. Now what I'll do is like when I'm doing set, basically when I'm loading the map, I would like the user position to be taken, not the previous one. So it's going to be latitude, longitude. Now as you can see, the map is somewhere random place. We zoom out, then it's going to be, it's in the middle of C for now. Let me zoom it out. As you can see, we are here. These are latitude, longitude for 0. So now we have done this. So what you do is like whenever these couple of things changes, whenever the user position changes, I would like to show, I basically now what I'll do is I'll just show a marker in this location. So to do that, let me just come back to the guide here. You can create a marker from here. So by default, I would like to put the marker, but post that I would like to change the marker also. Instead of that, let me do one thing. Let me first of all create a marker. This is going to refer the user marker. Now I can create a use effect variable. This is going to run whenever the user's latitude and longitude changes. Oh, sorry about that. Let me do one thing. Let me copy this. When the user's latitude and longitude changes, I would like this function to be run. Which is going to first what do is going to set the user's position. And this is going to be nothing but just, I'll just destructure it. I'll just destructure user position and set the user position, which is going to again set in the local storage correctly. Post that what I need to do is like, I need to first of all take the user marker. Let me do one thing, change the name itself. Here, let me copy it. The reason for me to store it, the user marker is going to become clear later on. Let me just add it for now. Let me refresh it. As you can see, we have the user marker here. And now what I'll do is I'll be using a sensor, which we get in the DevTools to change my location. So if I come to Tokyo now and refresh it, something doesn't work. Sao Paulo. Now refresh. Weird. Let me see the logic. I think something I might have written wrong. Oh yeah, sorry, I am not using a geolocation API. So what happens is I have to use it to change the location. For now, what happens is that by default is going to be in the 00 location only. We need to change the location based on the sensor which we are using here. So to do that, let me come back here and let me first come back on the top const location will be better word I guess. Let me copy this. So what I have to do is like by default I'm gonna put this location, but what I no instead of user position I have to put location dot latitude and location dot longitude. If we come back here, we are gonna get the location position we'll be getting it. It's gonna be latitude longitude. So what I do is I have to paste it here. Yeah. Now let us see. Refresh. Error retrieving zero. Okay. Reset permissions. Reload. Allow the location to be taken up. Now refresh. Let me do. I think I've missed out a couple of other things. These needs to have location. Can restructure it if you want, or you can just ignore it for now. Other than that, one more thing is like if you recall, the set view was basically to center the map. So even if you put the marker in a different location, if you don't set the view, you'll not be able to see in the UI by default. So what I'll do is like let me do that also. No, I think it should be map ref set view. Uh, Let me set the view based on the location. As you can see, now it's working fine. Now, if I change the location to something else, as you can see, I went to Shanghai, I came to San Francisco, I to Moscow. You can ignore the errors. I'm not exactly sure why it's coming up by default again and again. But anyways, so this is working fine, but let me zoom out. As you can see, we have multiple markers now. Because what happened in under the hood is like when we are changing the markers, we are not removing the previous marker. But since we want the user position to be on the, you can say, unique throughout this map. So what I have to do is like I have to check if the marker is already existing. If it is, I'll remove it from the layer. Let us see whether it fixes the issue. Now into Shanghai, now into London, Sao Paulo. Now let me zoom out. As you can see, only one marker exists throughout the map. So this is done. Other than that, what we need to do is like we need to also give a we need to also give a pop-up. In here, you can write any kind of HTML content. I'll just write simple user location. I'll just write user. Let me save it. Refresh. As you can see, we're getting the user. You can write HTML content here if you want. So this should fix most of the things. Set view. Now what I'll be doing is like I'll be changing the color for this current marker, or basically you can say the user marker, because I'll be having other markers also in the map. So what I have to do is like first of all I'll be trying to get the element which I can get using. This is gonna give me the element HTML element which as you can see this, where is it? This is the HTML element which I'll be getting. So I'll just check if the element exists. Then what I'll do is like I'll just change the style of this element dot style, I guess, dot filter equal to hue rotate. As you can see, this changes the color of the marker, user marker. So now what we can do is like we can create nearby markers also. So let me do one thing. Let me copy this, paste it. This will be nearby markers. And I'll give a default array to it, which again is going to have latitude, longitude itself. But let me give a default array. Now what I'll do is like whenever I'm getting mounting this component, I'll just check if the nearby markers are there. If they exist, I'll take the latitude and longitude out of them. And like how I've done for the user mark, I'll just copy this, paste it, take the latitude from here and longitude from here, and just add to the marker and just write marker at, I'll do one thing, I'll just give a latitude and longitude value. So this should be it. Now let us see, come back, refresh. Now as you can see, I have the marker, but I can't create the new markers. So what I can do is like to create, I'll just do one thing. I'll just listen on the map current. I'll just add an event listener to listen on any kind of click event. Let me first of all console log to you what it shows inside. Mapref.current.add event listener. Spelling is wrong. So when I'm clicking on any place, I'm able to get an event which has a lat long attached to it. So what I'll do is I'll use this lat long to place a marker to in that location. So let me copy this lat long. Sorry, it should be lat. I'll convert to latitude. Let me correctly say once more. Lat lng. Lat lng. So now what I'll do is like I'll just copy this code, come back here, paste it. So I get the latitude, I get the longitude, I place the marker, I add to marker with this. Now let us see, refresh. We can have the markers here, and as you can see, these are having issues. So let me do one thing. I'll have only two decimal places for both of them. Let us see now. Refresh. As you can see, we have the lat and longitude now. Is the user marker and these are, but now currently they are not getting persisted. So to persist them, what I'll do is like whenever the on click happens, I would like to store them also in the UI. So in the local storage. So let me do set nearby markers. I'll get the previous markers. I'll add a previous marker and the current marker. Current marker is going to be just latitude and longitude. So now it should work. Let us see. Fresh. Let me go to local storage. Let me clear everything out. Refresh now. As you can see, user marker was there, and nearby marker, as you can see, there are two, three, four. Now if I refresh it, now if I come back to the sensor tab and change my location to somewhere else, the user marker has changed. But if you zoom out, the markers which you created previously still exist somewhere here. If you see, so I think this was it, I guess. Anyways, I think this was it for this whole video, I guess. I just wanted to give you a brief, you can say, about how you can go about using Leaflet.js for creating map or adding maps in a React.js application. Hope to see you in other videos as well, and bye.